My dear friends, today is a special day. It is Guru Purnima, but not many people understand the relevance of Guru Purnima. People don't even know what is the true meaning of a Guru. And while we spoke about it yesterday, because it is the auspicious occasion, I would spend this day with my Guru and try to move forward on the journey of spirituality. I would ask him questions about God, about the soul, about life, about death, about heaven, about enlightenment. I would ask him questions because I realized that death is certain. Now, nobody can escape from death. But how can we live before we die? What is the way? What is the method? And my Guru, he was kind enough to show me the path. He showed me the path that led me forward on this journey. The journey that took me slowly, steadily, step by step, onto a state where I realized that we were living in ignorance. You see, a guru is not self-proclaimed. Nobody can say, I am a guru. The one who says, I am a guru is not a guru. The guru is in the eyes of the disciple. If somebody can take me from darkness to light, then I have found a guru. A guru is one who takes me from gu to ru. Gu is darkness and ru is light. And that is our goal. Our goal is to find somebody to take us on the journey. You see, even if you want achievement, if you want success, Tiger Woods was the world's best golfer, but he had a coach. Today, one lady has won the silver medal, I heard, in the Tokyo Olympics. She has a coach. Without a teacher, without a physical training expert, she would never have been able to reach this point. So with that note, I would like to start. It's a special day for me. It is Guru Purnima. I have very fond memories with my master and the time of kind of question answer sessions we used to have. My sessions with my Guru are world famous because when I used to ask questions, there would be dozens of people just listening and recording videos and audios. But the beauty was that they were all enjoying the question answer session between me and my Guru. With that note, let us start. Let us get going with today's Q&A. Administrator, who is the first?
No questions as of now, eh?
No question. That is the best thing in this world.
Ah,
The best
Guruji,
thing
yeah.
the
Guruji.
best thing in the world. Yes, Rajan, we'll give you the mic in a few seconds. The best thing in the world is to reach a state when there are no questions, because that means you have all the answers. So if you reach that state where you know all the answers, then you have no questions. Rajan, continue, Rajan. Your question number one.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, Rajan.
Happy Guru Purnima.
Wish you the same.
We are observing Guru Purnima on the birthday of Vyasa or Buddha. I have some confusion regarding that. Guru Purnima is observed on the birthday of Vyasa. Some says that it is the birthday of Vyasa. Some say it is the Buddha.
Because those who say it is Vyas, they don't know the truth, and those who say Buddha, they also don't know the truth. Because because the truth is, Rajan, what happened 2000 years ago, nobody knows.
Okay.
This is the honest answer. This is like the Chinese whisper. Somebody tells in one ear. There was no written history, and they keep on verbalizing it. And from one mouth to another mouth, and another ear, and another mouth, and another ear. So it hardly matters. For us, between you and me, Guru Purnima is the day that a disciple has respect for his Guru. It is not the birthday of Vyasa. It is not the birthday of Buddha. We are not interested in that. We are only interested in our Guru. We are interested in our relationship with our master. We are interested in our enlightenment. On Guru Purnima day, we are blessed to build a bond with our spiritual master, because it's a day of connection. It's a
Okay.
day of special
Okay.
emotions. It's a day of reverence. So that is the day according to me. For me, it was the best day between me and my guru. That's all mattered. I never asked my guru whether it is Buddha's birthday or it is Narendra Modi's birthday or Amit Shah's birthday. No,
Okay.
nothing matters. What
Okay.
matters is it is a special day for our guru.
Okay. Thank you.
Next, anything else, Rajan? Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I hope you understand my point, Rajan. Let us
Okay.
let
Clear.
us stick to the point what is relevant to us.
Okay. Thank you.
Next
Thank you,
is
Rajan.
Sudeep.
Thank you. Sudeep Bhargava.
Shivam sir.
Shivam Sudeep.
Sir, yesterday I had asked you that question on what is causal body, and
Yeah.
Kiran Aunty had asked you the question on samadhi, related to the deep sleep and samadhi. I was just trying to create a bridge between the two. I just wanted to know if I'm on the right track or not. That if you have to remove ignorance, that is only can be removed by knowledge.
Mhm.
Okay. So my point is, can I say that the bridge between removing of causal body and getting the samadhi is that Satchidanand that we talk about? Because when we are aware of the truth of our existence, that may lead to the samadhi. If am I right in that connection?
Overcoming of ignorance is to be done by the intellect. You are clear about this?
Yes. Okay.
You overcome the ignorance, but that is not samadhi. Overcoming of the ignorance is neti neti, not this body, not this mind. It is unlearning. It is unlearning the wrong things. Now, after overcoming ignorance with the intellect, next step is enlightenment. Enlightenment is realization of the truth. Up to now, you are clear with me?
Hmm.
Now, Sudeep, when you become enlightened and you realize the truth, that leads you to a state of Sat Chit Anand. That leads you to a state of divine consciousness. That leads you to Samadhi. So where are you? Don't build your mental bridges here and there. They will not help. Go in a systematic thing, I'm telling you. Suppose you say, I am Sudeep. That is ignorance. You agree with me? I am
100%.
not Sudeep. My name is Sudeep. That part you understand. Then you realize the truth. Are Sudeep ko chodo. I am Atma. I am the Paramatma. I am the Atman. I am nothing. Now this becomes realization of the truth. Realization of the truth is not enough. Realization of the truth crystallizes into consciousness. That consciousness is samadhi. That is chaturya. That is the ability to have thoughtlessness. That is the ability to become the witness and the observer. That is the state of Sat Chit Anand. From Sat Chit Anand, there is no bridge. From Sat Chit Anand, there is liberation and unification. So where are you? Which bridge are you caught in?
No, I'm not. I was just trying, because Satchidanand, what I could make out is Sat, that consciousness, or again, I sent that message to you yesterday that there's a difference in awareness and consciousness. In English, both of them have the same meaning. But in spiritually, I believe consciousness is different and awareness is different. I'm talking to you is my awareness. If I'm sleeping, obviously I'll not be aware of it, but I'll still be conscious.
You may not be you see, in consciousness, when you are sleeping, it is a state of non-interpretation.
Correct. But
So you can't
consciousness
say
is still there.
it is a lie to say that in consciousness, I even know what is happening when I'm sleeping.
No, I'll not know.
This is
Because
where
there's
I
nothing to be
corrected you when you said when there is you said that when there is consciousness, even when the senses are not there, even I can still feel. No, you cannot feel. Consciousness needs the senses to be there, otherwise where can there be consciousness? But the consciousness is in the sense where you are in control of the senses. You have transcended the mind, the body, the ego, and you become aware. There's a state of thoughtlessness. There's a state of dormancy. The volcano is not erupting anymore. You're in a state of ananda. That ananda is because of Sat Chit. That ananda is because of not just knowledge of the realization, it is consciousness of the realization.
That was my point, that consciousness of the truth will give us ananda. Is that ananda the same as samadhi? That is actually what I wanted to know.
You can say it is the same as samadhi. But see, samadhi is a tricky word. So samadhi can be reached in a state where you are not yet fully in Satchit Anand. According to me, Satchit Anand is higher than samadhi.
Okay.
If you want to
okay.
really, if you really want to go to that, because in samadhi, you can be Satchit, but maybe there's not Ananda still. Samadhi is that state of peace and bliss. It's a state, see, all these are very tricky words. And they are different words. It's just like saying compare nirvana and moksha. Why should we compare nirvana and moksha? What is the benefit of comparing nirvana and moksha? Buddha thought of it in some other way. Adi Shankara thought of it in some other way. What is our, why should we argue between these two?
No, correct. That I agree. I don't want to get into that verbal interpretations and things.
So just to tell you, you got the understanding what I'm saying now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sudeep, we overcome ignorance, we realize the truth, and then we become conscious of the truth. When we become conscious of the truth, we are in the state of samadhi, we're in the state of chaturiyam, and we experience a state of Sat Chit Anand.
Just one last question, sir, which could be an eye-opener for the others also. Can a person in samadhi be walking, talking, eating food while he is in samadhi? Or while in samadhi means that he has to be silent and not making any physical movements?
What do you think?
So far till yesterday when you sent me that message, I was in the way. I was like, maybe a person in samadhi should be sitting still, maybe just like observing
Sudeep,
thoughts or something. But
the moment you get out of the state of samadhi or Satchidanand and you are not in a state of silence, there are chances that your senses and your mind will drift away. So it is much better to be in a state of stillness, in a state of observance, because otherwise you can slip and you can lose your state of Satchidanand or samadhi.
Okay. Fine, sir. Fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator. Next, please.
Next is Gautam.
Gautam.
Shiva Mayor.
Shivoham Gautam.
Here, I want to know that how many states are there in to be in silence? There only one state or there are many states?
Silence.
Yeah.
Simple
Because
silence.
meditation.
No. Simple silence. Simple silence is shut up. That's also silence.
But if he being silent means some thoughts come, how to overcome that thought?
So that is called the Patanjali's 8 steps or the Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So these are the 8 steps. If you want to reach that state of consciousness, then you have to go step by step. You have to have observances. What are the several observances? Then what are the several restrictions we should not do? For example, you are saying, I want to be in a state of silence and you're smoking cigarette. Then if you're smoking cigarette, then your mind is also going somewhere here, there, because you're taking that intoxicant inside you. So it all depends what type of silence you want.
Can we be silent in some tune?
In some tune.
I lost a signal, I think.
What tune? So yes, Gautam, have I lost you? Samita, can you hear me? Yes, so Gautam, we have lost Gautam.
We can hear you.
But Gautam is lost. So give me the next question, please.
There are no other questions for now.
Okay. So one day when my guru, he wrote a poem. And he wrote a poem saying, my dear Ravi, that time he was called Ravi. My dear Ravi, every day you keep on asking questions and questions and questions and questions and questions. When will your questions come to an end? He wrote a poem and it's there in my book. I don't know how many of you have read the book, My Guru. There's a beautiful book I have written on my master. It's called My Guru, My Mentor, My God on Earth. It's a beautiful book. And then after a few 2-3 years, I stopped asking my guru questions. And then he wrote another poem. He wrote another poem saying, now you do not have any questions. because all your questions have been answered. And when you reach a state when there are no questions, then what happens is
Air, you're frozen. We can't hear you.
coffee or tea in the cup that you're drinking. No, that is the very ordinary awareness. You become awareness of life and death. You become awareness of God. You know something? Most of us, we don't know who's God. We are struggling to pray. We don't know how to pray. We don't know whom to pray. Where is this God? But when you reach that state of Sat Chit Anand, you see God everywhere. That is the goal. The goal, and at that point, when you reach that state where you are feeling the presence of God everywhere, then what more is the question? Then there is no question. There's no need of any question because I've got all the answers. Today, the problem is there is so much clutter. What did I do when I took so many hundreds of books and I went into the mountain? I wanted to find the truth because I found one man writing something, another guru writing something, another author writing something. Somebody has started writing Puranas. Now these are Shiva Purana, Vishnu Purana. Oh my God. And yesterday I was looking at one lady, I don't know, she was speaking, they were doing one satsang of Ashutosh Maharaj. I'm just sharing with you, and there were 25, 30 of them on the stage, and they were all talking about some story of some Purana. And this can take somebody to the wrong, completely to the wrong. You can be brainwashed. So if you are brainwashed, then there's a big problem. Because now you are completely brainwashed into believing something which is completely wrong. Then what happens? Then you're gone. Then your just complete life of yours is gone. So therefore, the importance of asking questions. Should we have an early closure? Is there any more questions, Administrator?
Motkula Anand, next question.
Motkula Anand. Shivoham.
So what is a question?
What is a question? A question is something we ask to find out an answer. Suppose you want to ask your daddy, where is mama? Why you will ask daddy, where is mama? Why you will ask? Because you don't know where is mama, correct? If mama is sitting in front of you, will you ask daddy, daddy, where is mama? Will you ask?
No.
No, why should you ask? Because mama is sitting here. So what is the question, my dear? A question is something we ask because we want to understand something that we do not know. Question is something we ask to understand something which we do not know. Then we come to know. And then when we come to know, then we have got the answer to the question.
Thank
Understand?
you. Yes.
Okay. Next question, please.
No question, eh?
Okay, so let us close today with the Sudeep Bhargava wanted to say something. So maybe before I wind up with a few thoughts on Guru Purnima, Sudeep Bhargava, you had requested the mic. So over to Sudeep Bhargava.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to share a good kind of a story that I had heard a few days back because that's quite relevant to the Guru Purnima. So I thought that I'll just share it with you and the other participants at the large.
Yes.
Because everybody who is on the spiritual journey, he comes across this question. Even I asked that question, not directly to you, but yeah, I had that question in my mind, that how do we get to the Guru? How will the Guru come in my life? That's a question that everybody has at some point or the other. More important than that, I think, is to understand whether we are in a position to talk to a Guru or not. And even if the Guru comes to us, are we prepared to understand what that Guru is going to tell us? So there's a story in Mahabharata which I would like to share with everyone, that after the war got over, Krishna went to Duryodhana's mother, Gandhari, that's her name, So Gandhari, when she met Krishna, she said that Krishna, you gave that Gita Gyan to Arjuna. It was a better option. Better option would have been that you should have given this Gyan to Duryodhan, who was the bad person. Maybe if you would have told him the right things, he would have maybe he would have ready to got like change, and maybe the war would have been avoided at the very first place. Why did you tell it to Arjun? That's quite a logical thing. So Krishna said that yes, I went to Duryodhan for that matter. Even before I went to Arjun, I went to Duryodhan. I told Duryodhan that Duryodhan, what you're doing is wrong. And he gave me 5 statements. That's what Krishna is telling Gandhari, that Duryodhan gave me 5 statements, which I'm not going to tell you now. Duryodhan said, I know what is right. I know what is wrong. You need not tell me about it. I just don't want to do the right things. So don't ask me to change. I'll repeat the 5 statements because these are very important. Arjuna's answers will be exactly the opposite. So Duryodhan said, I know what is right. I know what is wrong. You don't tell me. I just want to do the right things. So don't ask me to change. When Arjuna, in the beginning of the war itself, when he got caught up with the grief and the inaction, Krishna told the same words to Arjun also. Arjun, what you're doing is wrong. Now, Arjuna's replies were also the same 5 statements, but exactly the opposite to what Duryodhan had said. Arjun said, I don't know what is right. I don't know what is wrong. So you need to tell it to me as a guru. Because I want to do the right things. So please tell me how to change. So 2 very important, I would say, properties that a student or a shishya should have is, number 1, you should trust your guru. Whoever comes across and he takes you from the darkness to the light, you should be able to trust your guru and surrender to him wholeheartedly. I'll take your own example, sir, that when Dadaji asked you to shut down your business, you should not have, I'm sure that you did not ask him why. You just shut it down. Because the guru is asking me to do it, maybe there's something good which I may not be able to perceive. Let me shut down the business. So you did not ask him why. So that's what Arjun is telling Krishna. You tell me what has to be done. While Duryodhan said, you don't have to tell me what has to be done. And secondly, that very important thing as a human being is that we should first accept that what I'm doing is wrong. And I need to change. That willingness to change. If that willingness to change is not there, then nobody, even if God comes down to the earth, Krishna went to Duryodhan also, but he was not able to change him because he did not want to change itself. So it's only when you have an eagerness to change, only then somebody can become your guru. So Duryodhan had a guru, but he could not use that guru to get the enlightenment. Arjun did that. So that was a small thing I just wanted to share with everyone.
Thank you, Sudeep. It's very interesting, a very interesting story that you are saying. See, let me tell you, finally, enlightenment doesn't depend on the guru. Enlightenment depends on you. The guru may give you all the gyan. For example, Krishna gave the gyan to both, or rather he wanted to give the gyan to both. If Duryodhan was not interested, then what can Krishna do? So the point is this. Now, for example, some of you are coming on this call every day. You all try not to miss a single day. Some of you try to come once a week. Some of you try to come whenever you can, whatever. At least you're interested. There are some people who come and they don't come back. They're not interested. Or they have got some other source where they're probably going on some other, forward on some other journey. Whatever journey we are going, correct? It is important to trust the guru. Because if I had not trusted my guru, I would have not reached anywhere. My guru showed me the path. The job of the guru is not to carry you and take you to enlightenment. No, the guru cannot carry you and take you to enlightenment. The guru has to show you the path. You have to walk. Because if you don't walk, then don't blame the guru. The job of the guru is to tell you what is nirvana, what is moksha, what is enlightenment. It is the guru's path to tell you, do this, don't do this. The guru will give you a lot of guidance. A true guru is always willing to help. But like you said, unless you are willing to follow, unless you're willing to walk that path, you cannot get there. So thank you, Sudeep. Good thing we have 2-3 questions suddenly. So let us finish the questions. Administrator, who's the next?
Next is Sanjay Das.
Sanjay Das.
Shivam Guruji,
Shivoham, Sanjay Das.
I bow down to you and I have, with your profound thoughts, we are blessed and you are actually our Dada Vaswani. I am in Pune. I know all of them and you resemble him also. So we are very, very fortunate to have you as you are leading us to the right path. In these days, you don't find actual true Guru. The way you are with your profound thoughts and all you are a Google Guru, I should say, because you are able to explain all the answers and satisfy our thoughts and lead us to the way. As you said, I am doing all the meditation and chanting throughout the day, observing, and really what I should say, I am really going down to you on this Guru Purnima day. I am very fortunate to have you. Thank you, sir.
I bow down to you. I bow down to you, Sanjay Das, for your kind words. But Sanjay Das, just like Sudeep said, it is the divine power in you. It is the divine inside of you that is taking you forward. What I am sharing with you is just a reflection. It is just a beam. It is a flash of light coming and shining on me and coming to you. And it is the divine in you that is able to capture that and able to use it. So remember that the divine is inside you, the Guru is inside you, the God is inside you. And therefore, you have to continue on your path. You have to keep that devotion, that love for God, that love, that seeking, that yearning. That is what is important. If that is there, nothing will stop you on this journey of walking and reaching the ultimate goal of liberation and unification. So keep on walking the path
Immense
and
faith in you, sir.
do not shake.
Immense faith
I
with
couldn't
you,
hear
sir.
you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay Das. I will try my best to
Thank you, Shivam,
continue to
Shivam.
guide you in whatever best way I can. Shiva. Thank you, Sanjay.
Shivam.
Who else?
Thank you.
Administrator, we have another question. Thank
Next is Girish.
Shivoham.
Shivoham.
Body. Shivoham. Gross body, subtle body,
Yeah.
and causal body
Yeah.
are all one and the
Correct.
same. One and the same. Whereas first two are manifest forms, the causal body is unmanifest form. The mind and intellect are in seed form in the causal body. So in causal body, there is no mind, which is in a manifest form. And to know when this causal body came into existence, there is no way, because there is no mind, because mind starts from subtle body only, not prior to that. So we are unable to say when, where, how this ignorance began. Is this correct?
What you say is correct. But how to understand it is a different method. Let me explain to you. So you are trying to say that in the dark room, I don't know how many people were there. Because the room was so dark, I don't know how many people came and I don't know how many people went. But the room was so dark that I don't even know if there was somebody in the room or somebody was not there in the room. But it was so dark that I'm thinking that somebody was there, but I'm not sure that it was so dark that. So what I'm saying, causal body is that dark room. It's avidya. Causal body means avidya. In avidya, we don't know anything. Everything is wrong. That avidya, that causal body, you said, becomes the cause of the mind and ego. You said you use some terms of seeds being germinated, seeds that are there in the causal body which cause the mind and ego. But the moment the mind and ego is carrying its karma, then that karma continues to have the causal body of ignorance. Because what is this karma that we are carrying, Girish? This karma that we are carrying is of the mind and ego. And this mind and ego is the manifest form of the ignorance of the causal body. And then it manifests as a gross body. It comes alive in a physical body. But our point is this, Girish. What happens in the dark room doesn't matter to us. Because in the dark room, we could not see anything. Whether somebody came or somebody went or somebody did not come. How many people came? How many people went? How does it matter, Girish? What matters is switching on the light. The moment we switch on the light, Girish, there is enlightenment. When there is enlightenment, Girish, we can see everything. We can see how many people are coming, how many people are not coming. Now to explain in terms of if the causal body has to turn around and instead of ignorance, we become the Atma, then there is no mind and ego. There is no Sukshma Sharir, there is no Sthul Sharir, there is no causal body, there is no Karana Sharir. Because all there is the Atma. And all there is Paramatma. So my dear Girish, I know you have very profound thoughts and you're very deep into this subject. But I would like to guide you. Let us not try to understand the causal body, which is understanding the ignorance. Our goal is not to understand the ignorance. Correct me if I'm wrong, you please correct me. Should we try to understand the ignorance or should we try to sweep away the ignorance? What should we do?
Sweep away and drop all karma.
So, sweep away the ignorance and concentrate on this point that there is no causal body. There is no avidya. There is no mind. I cannot find. There is no mind. Where is ego? There is no I. I am nothing. मैं क्या हूँ कुछ भी नहीं, सब कुछ तुम ही हो प्रभु, तुम बिन मैं क्या कुछ भी ना. That is what we have to concentrate on. What am I? I am nothing. I am nothing. Sweep away the ignorance. Sweep away my subtle body. And there will be no reason to come back again in a gross body. We will be enlightened and become one with God. So let us all work towards sweeping away the ignorance. Thank you, my dear Girish. You always come with some very deep questions. Your questions are not ordinary. Your questions are very sharp and very deep. Administrator, have you lost me?
Not yet, Ed. There are two more questions, but no time. So I think you can attempt Bridget's question, which is typed.
Okay. So then one question will be for tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So let me see if we can touch it. It depends on the time. Bridget says, I would like to know what I have to look for. It's hard to ask for something we don't know and where we're looking for. Bridget, you have to look for the answer to the question, who am I in reality? I am not Bridget. Bridget is my name. I am not this girl who looks so pretty in the mirror. This is just my appearance. I am the divine soul. This is what you have to look, Bridget. You have to look and you have to find who you are, not who you appear to be. You appear to be Bridget. You appear to have blonde hair. You appear, but that is not the real you. One day, Bridget, one day will come, finally, when your body will be on the floor. When your body is on the floor and people will ask, where is Bridget? And what answer they will say? They will say, Bridget is gone. Bridget has left the body. Bridget is no more. She is gone. That day, when your body is lying on the floor and you are no more, that day, everybody realizes this is not Bridget. This is what you must look for when you are alive. I will not be that body which will die. I will be the one that will fly in the sky. Who is that I? Look for that I, Bridget. Ask that question. Of course, I have blonde hair. Of course, I have a beautiful skin. Of course, I think I have a mind. Of course, but who is the one who has blonde hair? Who is that I? Look for that answer. Then you will find the answer that you are the divine soul. That is what you should look for. Administrator, we will leave the next question, whoever it is, for tomorrow, because with that beautiful question, I would like to thank all of you for coming on this call. And may God's blessings on this
Thank
divine day be
you.
upon you. May you all be blessed. May you all be enlightened. May you all be liberated from this cycle of samsara, of death and rebirth. My prayers, my good wishes, all my best efforts to help you on this path, I bow down to you for your sincere devotion. May the Lord bless you. Thank you.